This is the story of Billy, a fascinating story. It deserves a book, but it's too complicated. I still think it's a good story that must be told. So, here goes. Billy came over to St. John's in Form 1 from a national type primary school in Section 1 of Petaling Jaya Old Town. He will be remembered as the first upskirt photographer in St. John's. It happened on a funfair day, a catwalk by the lower Form 6 girls. Too bad he was spotted by a prefect and had to do a bending over the buttocks for Brother Joseph at the next day's morning assembly. And to add to the ignominy, he had to say thank you to old Joe after receiving 6 whacks. He was peeved. Billy, who was then the goalkeeper in the under-20 school hockey team, retaliated by wanting to leave the team. Old Joe warned Mr. Clifford Sequeira, the hockey master, that if that fellow leaves the team, you tell him he will be suspended from school. So, in an important match where St. John's was leading Maxwell Road School by 3-0, guess what? Billy let in 4 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game. Old Joe was livid. By then, Billy couldn't care less about school, much less old Joe. In the Form 5 MCE exam, or the Malaysian Certificate of Education, which had replaced the GCE O-level of our year, 1970, he related to me years later. You know, Mike, I submitted the blank paper for my Bahasa and walked out of SGI Hall. I never saw Billy again after that for a long time. We know now, in addition to his Christian works, he also had a very good bak kut teh place in Old Town PJ called Suki Delight. Suki, his Hainanese roots. We had many old boys gatherings there in the last 12 years. Earlier in 2009, he also had a firm specializing in slope protection using soil nailing technique. Once after a meal of bak kut teh, he took me to visit one of his ongoing projects in the hilly Mount Kiara area. We took a photograph there. These 2 businesses, the bak kut teh and soil nailing, supplemented his income for his evangelizing works and raising a family. But how did he become an evangelist? And what is evangelist anyway? And how did this boy from St. John's become a pastor? Pastor Billy Tan. For that, we will have to look at the lost years. Shortly after he left St. John's, he got into the drug distribution business. Not the pharmaceutical type, but the big-time one. Oh yes, big money type. After years of good run, he wanted to quit. It was a dangerous hide-and-seek game with the local authorities, and he loved his mum. And it was also taking a toll on his health. And mum was worried sick. But he did not know how to stop, or could not stop, because by then, the addiction got a satanic grip on him. He was at the rock bottom of his life at 31. It was the right time for God to step in. In 1985, he was released from Pudu University after paying his dues, as he called that place. He was still addicted, and every time he tried to stop, he just could not sleep for days on end. Then he bumped into Dino. He was a close friend in the PJ neighborhood. He just could not believe what he saw. Dino was a changed man, clean-shaven and well-dressed, declined even a cigarette when Billy offered him, and the irony of it was that he used to buy drugs from Billy. What happened, Dino? How did you do it? Dino told Billy his story, told him about his encounter with Jesus at a faith center in Segambut. Billy recalled he sort of said wryly, that Jesus again. He doubted he could give up his addiction. Not after 18 years. But Dino persisted. Please go. You said you have not slept for days already. You look a mess. You should go and try because this Jesus is real and he can help you. Go. So Billy did finally go there by himself. That was somewhere in the early 1986. He remembered he sneaked into a staircase of the building. Not the prayer hall, not the altar, not in front of any crucifix. Maybe because he didn't want anyone to hear or see him. But this is what he said. Jesus, this is Billy here. Dino said you are real, but I don't know if you are real or not. But if you are real, take away my sufferings. Yeah, my sufferings. And let me sleep. And I will give my life to serve you. That was around 7 p.m., he said. Immediately after he said that, wham! He blacked out, fell back, slain by the Holy Spirit, as we Christians say. He laid on the floor of the staircase. I woke up next morning at 6 a.m. And no more withdrawal symptom. No more desire from that day onwards. And after that, God moved fast. At the end of 1986, Billy was baptized in Calvary Church. He enrolled in the Asian Institute of Ministries for a 9-month course to equip himself for pastoral works, and then studied 3 years full-time for a diploma in theology in Bible College of Malaysia at Jalan Gasing, Petaling Jaya. Graduated in 1990 to start his evangelizing work. Mike, God has opened doors for me in different countries to share the gospel. Billy did 30 years of evangelizing in India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Philippines, Pakistan, and even on medical missions abroad. And anywhere to share his testimony, like small cell groups and churches in Malaysia. That's Lynn. They got married in 1992. Billy heard Lynn even before he saw her as he walked past in a hall. She was practicing a song for service in Glad Tidings Church, which is near his Bible college. Oh, what a voice, Mike. What an angel's voice she has. And the song that Billy heard her sing is being played now, The Eye of a Hurricane. When Billy related his conversion and his encounter with Dino, my mind was brought back to the Forrest Gump movie from 1994. Like Dino, Forrest Gump tried to help Lieutenant Dan to find peace with God. Lieutenant Dan was a Vietnam War veteran who was very angry with God for not allowing him to die on the battlefield like his ancestors. Instead, he was now an amputee. So he was screaming and shouting and challenging God to take him down with a boat. Of course, at the end of the movie, he found God. He made his peace and he understood why he was alive and what God really wanted him to do with his life. Like Billy. Let's have a look at the scene of the storm in that movie.
No shrimp. Where the hell's this God of yours?
It's funny Lieutenant Dan said that, because right then, God showed up. Now me, I was scared, but Lieutenant Dan, he was mad.
for us. I never thanked you for saving my life.
He never actually said so, but I think he made his peace with God.
Also, some of you all may remember what Jesus said to the Pharisees and the Herodians who wanted to trap him by asking, "Is it lawful or not to pay taxes to Caesar?" And the famous reply in the Gospels was, "See whose face is on the denarius." They answered, "Caesar's." "So, therefore, you should render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." So the point is, do remember, Billy had already rendered his time to the Malaysian Caesar in that Pudu place. However, while Billy promised to render his service to Jesus at the Segambut staircase, I really doubt Billy knew how to serve with his life. I mean, how does one pay back to Jesus for a favor granted? The answer is you don't need to. It's not business with Jesus. For God, it is always your free will. Your free will to make your own choice, like Adam and Eve. For Billy, the choice he made after SJI was perhaps to get rich quickly via the route of international drug trafficking. At the staircase, he struck a transactional deal as only he knows how then. "You give me rest and I will serve you," which is another way of saying, if you can't deliver, all deals off, no deal. Jesus, you are not real to me then. I think like Lieutenant Dan, it is okay to be angry with God, but must have a reason. There will be moments in our timeline of life when things get painful, when we feel like shaking our fist too. No problem there. God is a big boy, he can take it, but just don't give him the silent treatment. Talk to him, pray to him, give thanks to him. There's nothing wrong to pray only when you need help, nothing wrong, for he is super patient and will wait for us to return to him. Billy is the prodigal son, the one lost sheep that God the Father took pity, forgave him, cleansed him, and empowered him to serve him as a messenger and as a healer. And that's how he became Pastor Billy Tan. An unusual choice, you might say, but that's God. We are proud of this Johannian, and his name is Billy Tan Boon Chi. Amen.
Let thy glory, let thy glory be over all the earth.
Suitable for good news in the midst of bad news. Paano ang ini nga bahin sa kasulatan pagasanto sa sini nga tigulo naton maayo nga balita sa tunga sa malain nga balita.
Praises to thee among the nations, for thy steadfast love.